Good afternoon. We are the New York Giants Preservation Society. In all of our Zoom videos and all of our videos that we've made, other than the Zoom sessions, we've talked about our guest speakers and many of their books or DVDs that they made. Today, I want to highlight those books on a separate video in case any of you are interested in purchasing them. They're fantastic books on the whole Giant franchise, whether it be New York and San Francisco combined, or if it's just New York by itself or San Francisco by itself. So I'm going to be discussing those and the meetings that they had come from. Okay, let's get started. First book was by our first guest, Josh Prager, Echoing Green, one of the best baseball books ever written. This is the first edition copy. You see the beautiful green grass of the Polo Grounds. Book talks about the 1951 sign stealing scandal. And that's for you to decide if it in fact is true or the Giants won the pennant by just outplaying the Dodgers. Here is the second pressing. Again, shot heard around the world. They see Bobby Thompson on the bottom. Our next guest speaker was Dr. Lawrence Hogan, and his book, So Many Seasons in the Sun, the quintessential book about clubhouse managers. They talk about the Logan family, Fred Logan, Ed Logan, Mike Murphy, and their careers doing what they did best, making sure the clubhouse was running correctly. After Many a Season by Robert Murphy. This book talks about the passing of the Giants and Dodgers in the golden age in New York baseball, about the Dodgers and Giants up to the point where they were leaving toward California, and then the dreadful news that they were in fact not coming back. Bill Madden, Hall of Fame writer, his book 1954. The year Willie Mays and the first generation of black superstars changed Major League Baseball forever. You know how Madden writes, so you know this is a wonderful book to have in your collection. Andrew Baggarly, great writer for the San Francisco Giants. Two books here, A Band of Misfits, talking about the tales of the 2010 San Francisco Giants. Followed that up with Giants Flash, Bonzi and Blast, World Series Parades, and other thrilling moments by the Bay. Andrew Baggarly, of course, who works for The Athletic now. And if you're a San Francisco fan, you know what a tremendous writer he is. Arnold Haino, this is his wonderful book, A Day in the Bleachers, the 50th anniversary of the catch. This is about a day he spent game one of the 1954 World Series, from taking the subway all the way to sitting in the game and watching just an amazing event happen with Willie Mays. Here is a DVD called Haino, Century in the Bleachers. This is a documentary by John Leo Nudikis. You got it right that time. Leo Nudikis. And this is similar title, but this is a career, looking at Haino's career, which was not only about baseball. Many of our Zoom speakers have contributed to this book, a team that time won't forget, the 1951 Giants. We've had speakers on Don Mueller, Wes Westrum, and the like. Just a great book for all New York and San Francisco Giant fans to have. Paul Kosak contributed Chasing Willie Mays. Great story about how he wanted to see his all-time hero up close and impersonal. Dan Taylor's A Scout's Report, My 70 Years in Baseball, talking about George Genovese, who Dan feels, and most people feel, belong in the Hall of Fame, and there are no scouts there, so he would be the first one. This book is called Banned by Hal Bach. It's all about the baseball players who were banned for various reasons um, during their baseball career and after, for that matter. The quintessential book on the San Francisco Giants franchise is called Home Team, Turbulent History of the San Francisco Giants by Rob Garrett. This is a fabulous book to own. You see Candlestick Park on the bottom and Barkle Park there today. 1921, Yankees, the Giants in the battle for baseball supremacy in New York. Lyle Spatz and Steve Steinberg. Steve spoke live and also during a Zoom. It's a great book talking about a great year and New York baseball during the 1921 season. Lincoln Mitchell, The Dodgers, the Giants, and Baseball Goes West. Great book about the Giants leaving and the Dodgers leaving to go to California. This is The End of an Era. This is a DVD by Mo Resner, a fabulous piece of history. He got to be on the field, on top of the dugout. Nobody stopped him, and he filmed the last game and all of the pomp and circumstance that went with it. Then he added features at the end of the film to make it a classic. Lincoln Mitchell again, another book he spoke about, San Francisco Year Zero, Political Upheaval, Punk Rock, and a third place baseball team, again, about the San Francisco Giants. Stu Thornley, Land of the Giants, New York Polo Grounds. Just an incredible book on the history of the Giants and their beloved stadium. Stu also wrote another book called The Polo Grounds, Essays and Memories of New York City's Historic Ballpark, 1880 to 1963, with contributions by some of our members. The Giants of the Polo Grounds. This is the first pressing by Noel Hind, The Glorious Times of Baseball's New York Giants. Again, just another great book about the history of the New York franchise. Noel then did a revised and expanded edition, and the New York Giants Preservation Society is honored that we're in the book, and there's even some pictures of us at a Met game. This Is Our Time, Chris Half, again talking about the 2010 San Francisco Giants' first World Championship. And he also wrote a great book that he spoke about, The Stick to the Cove, all about Mike Murphy, who officially retired after working with the Giants from 1958 on. Steve Tretta, 40 Years a Giant, The Life of Horace Stoneham. This is a SABR award-winning book. Tells the whole life of Horace Stoneham and his career with the New York and San Francisco Giants. John Shea's Times bestseller book, 24 Life Stories and Lessons from the Say Hey Kid. John is just a tremendous writer, and this is such an enjoyable book as it tells us things that we did not know from Willie's past, and talks about everything Willie is into and what makes Willie tick. Just a great book. John Rosengren, The Fight of Their Lives, Juan Marichal and John Roseborough. Great story about how they fought with each other, and then they ultimately became friends and forgiveness set in. George Greger wrote a book, From Coogan's Bluff to Baseball by the Bay. They Were Giants. George writes poetry mostly, and this book is a great book to own. Anika Orak, incredible woman of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. Anika did a great job on this book. Big Giant fan, San Francisco fan. Gotham Baseball, New York's All-Time Team by Mark Healy. Mark went over every position and picked out the best player at each position And that was from the New York Giants, the New York Yankees, and the New York Mets, and also, I'm sorry, the Brooklyn Dodgers as well. So a lot of debates over who should be where, but Mark does a great job. They played baseball for the Giants, Jeff Wagner. Jeff talks about guys who really maybe forgot played for the Giants, Steve Carlton, Gary Carter, players like that. 26 in a row, the 1916 New York Giants and baseball's longest winning streak. Great book by Alex Drew. Dan Taylor again, Lights, Camera, Fastball, How the Hollywood Stars Changed Baseball. And Dan has a way of always interweaving New York Giants into his books and his Zoom sessions with us. Lincoln Mitchell, again, the Giants in their city, Major League Baseball in San Francisco from 1976 to 1992, basically encompassing the Bob Lurie ownership of the team. Twilight Teams by Jeff Stewart. Jeff wrote about all the teams that you see there, the Braves, the Browns, the Athletics, the Giants, the Dodgers, and Senators last season in their hometowns. And when Jeff spoke, he talked about, of course, the New York Giants to us. 1962, Baseball in America in the Time of JFK by David Krell. David focused the whole book on 62, of course. When he spoke to us, he spoke about the World Series between the Giants and the Yankees of 62. Intentional Balk, Baseball's Thin Line Between Innovation and Cheating by Dan Levitt. This, again, just recently won the Sabre Award for the best book of the year. Dan spoke about the Astro scandal, spoke about the Giants and other incidences, and it's just a great book and well-deserving of its award. Chris Epting, The Early Polo Grounds, talking about the really early formation of the Giants in New York. And he also did a great book called Roadside Baseball, uncovering hidden treasures from our national pastime, all statues and plaques all around the country. This is just a terrific book and lots of fun. Sal Maglie, Baseball's Demon Barber by Judith Testa. Judith joined us and spoke about Sal Maglie in a great session we had. Dan Foss contributed the Giants baseball experience, year by year chronicle from New York to San Francisco. Great coffee table book, great pictures, and the added beauty of it is that the Giants won in the later years when he was talking about the book. Terry Cashman, Willie, Mickey, and the Duke Talking Baseball. Terry spoke about his song 40-year anniversary, and he does some other great stuff where you can purchase it here. Terry Cashman's greatest baseball hits, about great songs about Cooperstown, play-by-play on the radio. Great recording for you to own. Benches of a Superfan, Charles Fracchia. This is a great documentary by John Leo Newdikis, again, getting better at saying that, following Charles's search to get autographs, and just it's a very fun video to see. Dr. Adrian Borjos, who is very knowledgeable and up on everything Latino baseball, Playing America's Game, and also Cuban Star, how one Negro League owner changed the face of baseball. Adrian related both of these books to the New York and San Francisco Giants. The HBO documentary, Shot Heard Around the World. It's on YouTube. If you can order it, it's a must-have. Dennis Snelling's Lefty O'Do, Baseball's Forgotten Ambassador. Great book about the New York Giant, San Francisco Seal, and he really opened up Japan to American baseball. The rivalry heard around the world, the Dodgers-Giants feud from coast to coast. Joe Conti went over just about everything involving the Brooklyn Dodgers and New York Giants, and then the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's the first pressing, and here you see an updated one. Nice picture there of Brandon Crawford. Jim Kaplan gave us the greatest game ever pitched between Juan Marichal and Warren Spahn. Just a ridiculous amount of pitches by each one. Marichal wouldn't leave because the old man was pitching. Spahn wouldn't leave because the young guy was pitching, and the game was decided with a Willie Mays home run. Scott Petoniak, Johnny Antonelli, a baseball memoir. Antonelli, the 1954 World Series hero for the Giants. Curt Smith, Voices of the Game. This is a tremendous book. He is the authoritarian on baseball announcers. Here's his other book, Memories from the Microphone. Curt spent 2 sessions with us, one discussing the New York Giant baseball broadcasters and one the San Francisco Giant baseball broadcasters. Lou Hernandez, manager of the Giants, tactics, temper, and true record of John McGraw, considered to be the Giants' greatest manager in New York for sure, possibly the franchise, unless you feel Bruce Bochy is, but just a tremendous book by Lou Hernandez. James Hirsch, Willie Mays, The Life, the Legend, another fabulous book on the Say Hey Kid, and Jim spoke right before Willie's birthday a couple years back. He did a wonderful job. Peter Karasotis, Alou, My Baseball Journey. Felipe Alou, been with the Giants franchise, seems forever. Great story about how life evolved and turned into be the great player he was, manager, and now he is a scout for the Giants. Marty Appel, who knows more about the Yankees than probably anybody, spoke about Casey Stengel, baseball's greatest character, and when he was speaking, he mostly talked about him being on the Giants and how he eventually became, besides a player on the Giants, how he eventually became the great manager that he turned out to be. Dan Taylor, Walking Alone, The Untold Story of Football Pioneer Kenny Washington. Washington was the equivalent to Jackie Robinson in baseball. And Dan, let us all know about his attempt to become a member of the New York Giants. And it's a great way of always getting the Giants in there with his books and his talks to us. Beauty at Short, Dave Bancroft, the most unlikely Hall of Famer in his wild times in baseball's first century, by Tom Alicia. Great book about a shortstop who turned out to be a terrific defensive player and is a Hall of Famer. Going, Going, Gone, a baseball novel by Steve Hermanos. This is a book about an earthquake and when players go through a time travel and wind up in New York City. And it's a very fun read and got rave reviews. Johnny Mize, a biography of baseball's big cat by Lou Friedman, one of the unsung Giants who had a wonderful Hall of Fame career. 1933 New York Giants, book about the season where they won the World's Championship under Bill Terry, again by Lou Hernandez. The HBO original, Say Hey Willie Mays, it's on HBO Max, still playing. Nelson George, Sean Stewart, they spoke about this a couple of days after the initial run. We had a fabulous evening. Ross Young's In Search of San Antonio, Baseball Legend by David King, another one of these early Hall of Fame New York Giants that most people don't know about, and Dave informed us in great detail. Sid Gordon, An American Baseball Story by Steve Cohn. This is a brand new book about Sid Gordon, who had to deal with a lot of anti-Semitism, playing for the Giants, and was one of their really great players in the 40s. New book by Noel Hine, The Sputnik Season, 1957. The year New York City baseball and America changed forever. And again, Noel spoke to us and talking about that season, mostly in regard to the New York Giants, their final season in New York. James McGee spoke about his father-in-law, Baseball Odyssey, Volume 1, Jack Lorky. And it's a nice little book, and, you know, it explains why Jack Lorky was called Lucky Lorky. Juan Marichal, My Journey from the Dominican Republic to Cooperstown, by Lou Friedman again. Juan is one of the most beloved pitchers in the Giants' history, and still going strong. Karen Markov just came out with a new book. She'll be speaking to us in March. Eddie Grant, Baseball and the Great War. No book was really ever written about Grant. He, of course, has had the plaque in the Polo Grounds that nobody has ever found. But more importantly, Karen tells us what a great man Eddie was. Also coming to speak to us in April will be Paul Dixon with Leo DeRocha, Baseball's Prodigal Son. This book will be coming out in paperback, and we look forward to hearing Paul discuss Leo DeRocha, who is quite the character. Always loved when he was on the Munsters, trying to sign Herman to play for the Dodgers. New book also coming out in April, Baseball at the Abyss, The Scandal of 1926, Babe Ruth and the unlikely savior who rescued a tarnished game. And again, Dan has that way of getting the New York Giants in, so we cannot wait to hear him talk about his brand new book. Willie the Met, Jeff Wagner. This will be about Willie's final 139 games, year and a half spent as a New York Met. I know some of you have a difficult time seeing him in that Met uniform. So those are all the books and the DVDs that our speakers talked about, and most of them, if not all of them, are worth owning, either buying it or taking out of your library. Until next time, have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye now.